What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bogey Proof. Little Masters hangover episode here. We got to recap the Masters and kind of take a look forward to what the next month of golf is before we hit the PGA mid to late May, whenever that kind of falls now on the calendar. But as we always do, before we do so, Mike, Erik, what are you guys calling on? Or where are you guys calling from, and what are you guys sipping on? Or Erik, I know you're driving right now, so what will you be sipping on later tonight? Maybe either during or after that softball game, but. Let us know what's
Yeah,
on.
I'm on my way straight from work to softball today. It's been a beautiful day here in Charlottesville. I wish I was sipping on something. It was like 82 today. I think spring is officially here. I think I've said that 3 times on the podcast in the last 2 months. But I currently am not sipping on anything. Typically go to a local brewery after the softball game, so I have a couple beers later. But nothing right now. Michael?
Yeah, nothing for me here in rainy Ann Arbor, Michigan. Just a very disappointing day overall. Golf clubs were supposed to come in, didn't make it. Brought the car to the shop for normal servicing. They tell me I need to spend some extra cash. The rain didn't allow me to get out there on the golf course today, but I'm excited to see you guys sipping on a little water. Tomorrow is kind of my last full Thursday here of the winter semester here at the University of Michigan for grad school. Really coming down to the end. So going to do a little work after this and potentially some yoga. Going to get a little odd tonight. You know, my girlfriend Elizabeth, she has a Peloton she just bought, and I can get access via my email to the online workouts that are not on the bike. So I got access to a lot of odd workouts there. Did a strength class last night via video. I'm going to get the yoga in, just do a little stretching, get the mind right for a busy Thursday. But Matt, where are you calling from? And are you sipping on anything? You're gonna round us out nicely?
We're staying clean this week, boys. I'm not sipping on anything. I actually am doing water myself. And I mean, shout out the 2022 Goals podcast. We got Mikey hitting the Peloton workouts. I got my whoop in this week, so I'm baseline this week. So I'm trying to keep it in check, be a little bit of accountability this week. Just like, I just sometimes just need something to yell at me, and the whoop kind of would be like, hey, like, you know, when you have to like type in every morning of like, how many alcoholic drinks did you have last night? How many like did you have like fast food, processed food, all this stuff? When you know you have to answer that question the next morning, I think it changes the way you kind of go about your night. So given those things, and we're baseline the whoop this week, we're going just water tonight. I think I'm going to try to do a little stretching myself tonight, little baseline work, a little yoga. Just been playing a little bit of golf lately. Now that, like Erik said, spring is here, getting out on the course a little bit, getting like little late night nines, and been playing on the weekends. So we're going to do some stretching, maintain the body so I don't kind of overkill it and hurt myself in the, squeezing in all the spring golf rounds around the weather, mishaps and what you not. But without further ado, gentlemen, let's recap Scottie Scheffler just doing the damn thing. 4 out of his last 6 starts, world number 1, and running away with it at this point with the couple of months he's put together, and just really didn't give anybody a chance of hope on Sunday at Augusta, even really the whole weekend at Augusta. Anytime he seemed to be a little bit out of sorts or a little bit out of place, the short game fucking answered the bell, and he got up and down all over the place, made every 12-footer he needed to. It seemed like, to kind of keep that momentum and not fall back. But what are your guys' thoughts, takeaways? I mean, outside of Scottie, maybe we talk about some other stuff, and then we'll wrap it up back to Scottie with his first major.
Yeah, I guess looking back on it, I'm not surprised. Like, yeah. I think not a lot of people were talking about him going into the week just because he's been so good, and there's so many other storylines at Augusta this year. Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Cam Smith. Like, I think we talked about it, how he was somewhat flying under the radar as the number 1 player in the world. And I think that kind of all changed when he just played so much better than everybody on Friday, that it just put him in a, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't pick him more like in different things that I was involved in, or just put some money, because the fact that he was not the betting favorite was kind of insane, right? So I think he just seems like such a great guy. I think it's been funny on social media. Everyone's kind of chiming in just on like, I just want to be Scottie Scheffler's like friend. Like he's just like a great person. Like all these couples being like, we got to go out to dinner with the Schefflers, right? Like they're just the best of the best. But yeah, some fun storylines. I think Rory kind of being up there, Shane Lowry, Cam Smith, Morikawa, Corey Connors, Sungjae, Zalatoris, Justin Thomas. Like there's a lot of firepower at the top of that leaderboard, though they didn't really contend. And we missed our mark a little bit not getting Scottie Scheffler, but we had a lot of people that ended up in the top 10 that we really liked this week. But what did you kind of see out there, Matt?
I agree. I think it was just like, it's one of those ones you look back, it's like obviously he won, but I think everybody's just been waiting for him to come back to earth and was like, oh, okay, well, he won. The match plays a little different. He won Bay Hill. He won this. He won that. It's like, those are all kind of weird, but they're not a major. And now he's number one and coming off that. Like, can you really bring that into a major being, not having won one before? Like all these different things, right? And it's just like trying to create all these storylines when it's just like, like just open your eyes and just pick the hottest player on the planet. Like I think, Mike, you texted us on, I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday, but you're like the hottest golfers in the world are at the top of the leaderboard. It's like, well, like that shouldn't be like mind blowing, like that's so obvious. It's like the guys that are playing well, like weird, like, so that was just where I kind of was, that was like the biggest thing for me. It's like, sometimes you get so wrapped up in Augusta and every other storyline, every other big name, whether regardless of their status, you look at course history, you don't look at the last couple of weeks, you get all wrapped up in it. Right. And sometimes like who's playing good right now? That's like, top 5, top 10 in the world, like who's playing the best, probably just bet on them. At the end of the day, it's like, just go with the hot hand. And obviously his hand is scorching as he's running away with world number one. But Erik, do you have any maybe non-Scottie stuff that stood out to you or something unique about Scottie's win that stood out?
Yeah, well, I'm sticking with the Scottie topic. A few takes like post-Masters that I've heard that are interesting. Like kind of like what you just said, Matt, is like number one in the world, but no one was really talking about him. And there was, I forget who it was, but someone made a comment that golf is so deep now that we don't expect the number one player in the world to win the major when he's coming in as number one in the world. No one really has done that to make it consistent enough to think about it since Tiger. Not comparing Scottie Scheffler to Tiger, but we've been so accustomed to a pool of any of 40 guys can win a major, and not to think about the number one in the world because that's too obvious. So it's cool to see him come in and kind of prove his worth at number one in the world. And then another interesting thing I saw was obviously he's won 4 of 6. Like his number one in the world status has he's kind of increased his distance from the field, to call it. The distance between him and then Sam Burns, who's number 10 in the world, is the same distance in points between Sam Burns and the guy who's number 729th in the world.
Jesus.
I don't really know how that makes sense, but that's what a tweet said.
The more I get into world golf rankings, the more they confuse me, to be honest. The more I try to understand them, like the less I do, kind of thing. But that's right. That just goes to the, like, to you're saying, like 4 of 6, and it's not like he came out of nowhere. He was always in the top 20. It seems like the last year and a half, especially in the majors too, where all those points are. Like he's been top 20 nonstop. It's not like he was missing cuts and kind of out in the middle of nowhere and then just came on a heater. Like he's been playing super solid golf and now is just like getting it done. And they do talk a lot to like Scottie's credit. Like he's won at every level he's played at, won hundreds of junior stuff, like whatever. And I think that's like, once you figure, like when you have that kind of like, how to win, once you figure it out at certain level, you rattle them off kind of thing. That I think, and I've talked about this a lot now, but like Scottie Scheffler is doing in the last 3 months what I thought John Rahm was going to do for the last 18. Like I thought he was going to put together a window like this any given time over the last 18 months and never did it. And it's just crazy to see, like, all right, Scottie came in, he's fucking doing the damn thing. He's already said how much he loves Southern Hills. I think he said it's his favorite golf course in the world somehow. I've been seeing that all over the place. I don't know how, like, he got there. So
it's in his PGA Tour.com bio that's his favorite golf course in the world.
It's so obscure. Like, when did he play there? Did he play there in college or something? Like,
They must have.
yeah,
Probably like
that felt so random to me. And
a junior
like,
PGA or something like that.
Yeah, it's close. It's close to where he grew up in Dallas. So.
Okay. So yeah, it's like, I mean, I think at this point I was going to be the odds-on favorite everywhere he goes for a little while until he comes back to earth. But it is just super impressive. Like, to me, it was like, especially that, like, to really get into it on Sunday, like, kind of scraping it the first 6 holes, and that chipping on 3 was like, fuck me, like at that point, like, Rory's already 3-4 under. Cam comes out, birdies the first 2. They both go a little squirrely on 3, and it's like, all right, just if Cam can just kind of split this hole with them and, like, keep it rolling here, like, we got a golf tournament. I'm like, I want to see the climax finish, whatever. And he just fucking chips that in from down there, and I was like, what the fuck was that? I was like, are you kidding me? Like, nobody chips in from down there. Like, granted, that thing was coming in hot. Like, it didn't it goes. But
it was one of those moments where it's like you need a little bit of luck to win anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Charles Schwartz of holding out on 11 or whatever he did it when he won in 2011. Maybe it was on 3 actually, but whatever. Like, it's like you said, you need luck to win a tournament, especially a major, and that was his. Like, I probably deserved a 5 there, if not worse, and snuck away with a 3, and then all of a sudden Men in Black flash a light. You forget the first 3 holes ever happened. You're 1 under through 3, and you extended your lead, and you're off to the races. It's like it was impressive. Every time there's that glimmer of hope of coming back to the field, he shut the door with the putter or the wedge. And, like, I was just floored by the short game and the putting. Like, he made fucking everything. Like, on 11, on 12 on Sunday, before Cam dumped it in the water on 11, he makes 12 feet there. On 12, he gets up and down from back left to that green. Like, what the fuck are you doing over there? And he makes, it's just like, anytime you're like, oh, he's a little sketchy. Nope, par, whatever, moving on. And then gets to the par 5s and eats those up. And it was like, good Lord, man. He never let up on, like, never took his, like, foot off the neck, foot off the gas, whatever you want to say. Like, he just answered every question that was asked of him all day Sunday with, was it 5-shot lead going into the day or 4-shot lead? It was just,
I also want to just, like, position ourselves as to how good professional golfers are as compared to even elite level amateur golfers, right? We see at the Masters every year, like, these amateurs that shoot 15 over par, right, and just get lapped by the pros. But let's take Scottie Scheffler, number 1 player in the world, versus James Piot. Definitely not the number 1 amateur in the world, but the winner of the U.S. Amateur last year. They've played 4 rounds in the same tournaments this year. First 2 rounds at Arnold Palmer, and the first 2 rounds at the Masters. Scottie Scheffler has beat him by almost 8 shots per round. He's beat him by 31 strokes in 4 rounds. The guy that won the U.S. Amateur at Oakmont.
Yeah, and Piot's probably, for all of our listeners that are whatever handicap, like, Piot's probably what, like, +4, right? If you're winning the U.S. Amateur,
+6, +7.
So, and he's +6, +7, and he's going to need 8 shots. He's going to need 8 from Scottie each day to contend. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of position us there. And I kind of sucked. I mean, I thought the kid from North Carolina, Austin Greaser, had a really good shot to make the cut. Was hanging around even most of the second day, and then shot like 40 something on the back 9. But I did really appreciate, before we kind of maybe move on to looking forward, I really like the apparel collaborations for the college players with the pro whatever. So Piot he's a Michigan State guy. So Michigan State and FootJoy, who he was a Titleist guy and wearing all the FootJoy stuff. So they collaborated. And then Greaser from UNC, sponsored by Jordan, he got all the Jumpman stuff, right? So he was wearing the Jumpman hat and, like, some specific Jordan, some Jordans that, like, even the guys at UNC aren't wearing, and then the shirts. So that was pretty cool. I think moving forward, and I think you're probably allowed to do that stuff. I don't know if like NIL is impacting that type of deal. Probably not, but, like, who knows? But that was really cool. some cool apparel stuff from that. And then was there any as we kind of, just because it's always a hot topic of the Masters, was there any fits out there this week that caught your mind? It was pretty tame, honestly. Finau was terrible, but
I would say it was better than most weeks, but the Finau one was atrocious. But I don't know. I think I saw on Twitter, like, somebody said, like, Finau looks like he plays for the Cleveland Browns in, like, Breast Cancer Awareness Month or whatever with that outfit.
Yeah.
And then you got, I mean, he's able to pull it off because he's Tiger Woods, but that shirt on Thursday was a lot. The neon pink shirt in his first fucking round in 500 days. Like, if anybody else has that on, it's not pretty, but I mean, it looks okay on him because he wears the all black, everything else around it. So it like works, but I was like, whoa, that's a statement on fucking day one. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's a good thing he shot 71 that day. It would have been tough card in the 78 with that shirt on.
My biggest apparel takeaway, I think, is that everybody on the PGA Tour should be wearing the FootJoy Premier shoes. They're so fucking cool.
So good looking, man. Cans on either Saturday or Sunday with the brownish leather kind of thing on it. Was like, whoa, those are fire. Like, looked like the old icons. It looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Tiger's wearing them, everybody should be wearing them.
Good point.
And then I think lastly, just to wrap up the Masters, I just do want to give shout outs to, like, you know, Tiger made the cut, struggled on the weekend, whatever. That was just awesome to see him play 4 days there and see the Sunday red. Rory McIlroy might have positive vibes leaving Augusta for the first time in 20 years. I listened to Get a Grip with Shane Bacon, and he kind of laid it out well. It's like, I don't think Rory's ever been excited when he leaves or when he leaves Augusta. He's never had, like, good vibes leaving that place. Probably since, like, he played as an amateur, like the first time he played when he was excited to go back and get it the next year. Ever since then, when he blew that lead in 2010 or whatever, every year it's just been like he leaves with a sour kind of taste in his mouth. He finally closes on a good note, and that Sunday 64 was fucking electric. And I just hope, as a Rory fan, I hope that carries over not only through this next stretch of majors the next 3 months, because I think it will, but also, like, when he goes there next year, like, just watch Sunday's round from this year, just positive vibes, good flow, good vibes. Like, I haven't had that much fun watching Rory play golf probably since, like, 2014. Like, Sunday was so fun. And it was just like the hole out on 18. He didn't know how to celebrate. He hasn't celebrated in like 4 fucking years. Like, he just throwing his arms around like the inflatable tube mans that are at, like, used car dealerships. So I was like, what are we doing, Rory? But, like, I don't know. I just wanted to, like, make sure we highlight Rory, like, showing a pulse at Augusta and, like, looking like he had fun for the first time in 10 years at that place. And I hope that just carries forward through PGA at Southern Hills, you know, the Open at St. Andrews. I don't know if the country club's a great fit for him, but and even into Augusta next year. I just want to make sure we give Rory a little credit because he's my guy. So I got to vouch for him.
Rory has had some success in New England, though. You know, he played well at TPC Norton, like, or at Boston there in Norton. Like, yeah. I recognize it's not the country club, but, like, at some point, just, like, maybe having some familiarity with the types of fans that show up at those types of places, and
I hope.
You know, who knows? Maybe I'm just, you know, optimistic that Rory parlays this, but yeah, excited to watch him the rest of the year. And we got some really good stuff from Cam Smith. Like, I think if he doesn't struggle on Friday morning, it's maybe a different tournament. If he doesn't shoot 39 on the way out.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, because he just, his short game, man, is just so saucy. Like, the putter is so good. The wedges is so creative. Like, I mean, like we said leading up to it and why we were all, like, picking him, it's just, yeah, he just kind of, like I said, like, slow out of the gates Friday, kind of came back to everybody after making 8 birdies the day before. And then, you know, and then just Sunday, kind of that one bad swing that kind of got away from him or whatever on 12 that deflates you. I mean, after a triple bogey, when you're already chasing, you're just kind of done. But yeah, Cam Smith's always fun to watch. He's one of my favorite guys to watch these days. So
all-time funny moments. So I'm at a practice round on Sunday with my golf team, so I didn't watch like the first 12 holes or 13 holes or whatever. But I'm talking to Elizabeth on the ride home, and she's giving me like the play-by-play of the golf. And she was so confused when they were re-hitting, like when it went in the water on 12.
Oh yeah.
And just like describing like his face, right? Because we don't like really look at players' faces when they like hit bad shots. But she was like, she's like, I don't really know what's going on, but like his face is really red right now. So like something must be going on.
That's so funny.
So that was kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. I love Cam Smith. Great guy, tremendous hair, great vibes. So
mustache is pretty bad, but the hair makes up for it. Yeah, all right. I mean, unless we got anything else, Masters, I think it's time to take a look forward at the next kind of wave of tournaments here before we get to the PGA. Just got the date now, May 19th, 22nd. So third weekend in May will be the PGA at Southern Hills. But before we do that, we have a pretty decent stretch here and kind of first time for the PGA Tour season where they kind of just bounce around. I feel like leading up to the Masters, it's California 1 week, Florida the next, or California 1 month, Florida the next month, and then a little bit of Texas stuff in between. We go RBC Heritage next week, or this week, I should say. Hilton Head, South Carolina, Zurich Classic in New Orleans after that. Then they go to Mexico for a week. Then they come back and they do Wells Fargo, which is actually in Maryland this year, I believe, because the President's Cup's at Quail Hollow. And then lastly, and then they go AT&T Byron Nelson before the PGA, which is in Texas. So kind of all over like the country with that one. And then obviously hopping into Mexico real quick. All Southeast US. So like there's just a lot of different cool cities in there. And I think it's worth just kind of quickly as a group just running through like which one of those kind of stands out to you as one you want to watch golf wise, and then what stands out to you as like a cool city maybe you want to travel to, visit, or that maybe you have visited and had a lot of fun. And like which one of those, what is it, 5-6 tournaments kind of stands out to you before we head to the next major of the year?
All right, I'll go first because I got to run soon. I think this week stands out to me the most as one that personally I would love to attend the event. I would love to go to Hilton Head. Never been to Hilton Head in general. And then just the strength of the field is obviously pretty surprising with how great it is the week after a major. It's one of the strongest like regular event fields of the year, if not the strongest, I think. So it's a great event, really cool golf course there in Hilton Head. So this one to me stands out the most. And then after that, I think a sneaky tournament this year is going to be the Byron Nelson. It's so close to the PGA that I think we're going to get more people playing the week before the PGA than we would see in the past.
And it's not far. It's probably McKinney's in outside Dallas. It's probably 3 hours from Southern Hills.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it's close to Oklahoma. So I think more people might try to play a little bit of a tune-up the week before than have in the past just because of the ease of travel.
Yeah.
And then one other thing, I texted you guys this morning that I put together a wild parlay for the RBC Heritage. And I'm just going to rattle it off real quick. I had some leftover money in the FanDuel account. So we're going Tyrrell Hatton, top 30, Daniel Berger, top 20, Russell Henley, top 20, Tommy Fleetwood, top 20, Wesley Bryan, top 40, Takumi Kanaya, top 40, Davis Riley, top 40, and Sungjae, top 10. So I'll report back.
Yeah, we might have something to pay attention to on Sunday. So keep us posted.
We'll have some updates. We're gonna hopefully everyone makes the cut. That's step one, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds like a plan.
Enjoy your game. Yeah.
See you guys.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to echo Eric's point there on Harbor Town, but that's probably the most intriguing golf course to me. Have visited Harbor Town, did not get to play. They were actually redoing the greens when we were there. And it was summer, it was July. It was like 95 degrees out.
I'll say 100 degrees down there.
It was humid as shit down there, but super cool. Went and had dinner at like the lighthouse there. Director of golf at Harbortown Golf Links went to Springfield College. Kind of a cool fun fact.
Cool.
So that's a cool place. I guess I have a gripe with the fact that why we got to play so many TPC courses? TPC Louisiana, TPC Potomac,
TPC Craig Ranch. It's all part of the PGA Tour like umbrella, man. It's all part of their business structure. You just hammer those, makes people want to go play them. They get a little, that's part of their little side cash that comes in outside of the PGA Tour money. But
I know, but like what? But now, like, then soon enough we're gonna have TPC Frisco, right? When they have the PGA complex down there, not gonna be able to get away from it. I guess I don't know. I wish we had a good opportunity here when the Wells Fargo, when with what's called with Quail Hollow there being the host of the President's Cup, we had an opportunity to play some good, cool golf courses. There's some really cool other ones in the Charlotte area, Charlotte Country Club, Carmel. They went out and played in Wilmington last time at this like Eagle something. Super cool golf course. I don't know if you remember, Brian Harmon won that one with a long putt. And just like a pretty, it's kind of we don't talk a ton about the golf from like DC to like North Carolina. Like Pinehurst is like there, but like I'll leave Pinehurst off that list. But like there's got to be another golf course somewhere in Virginia or somewhere in the DC area. Why can we not play Congressional? Come on. Yeah. Can we get Congressional? I mean, so I guess I have a little bit of a gripe with that. I don't love TPC Potomac. From what I remember last time they played an event there, it wasn't anything special. But I'm excited. I mean, Mexico Open, we didn't go to Mexico last year with COVID, so excited to get back there.
Is that the same course they always played?
I think so. I think it's going to be the same. Not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But hopefully we get some elevation and some fun stuff out there. Is it a does it have
WGC anymore?
So I don't know. Maybe that's going to affect who we get who we get there, because we've had some electricity there in the past.
Yeah, I would say it's provided pretty cool finishes. I mean, Phil won there, JT's won there. Like, it's provided some pretty cool champs. And I remember like it's usually like kind of like birdie fest, but like in an exciting way to watch it. Like it's kind of cool with all the elevation and whatnot. So yeah, I hope we get a decent field there. I just think, when I look at this list and like I have the purses up here too. So I think Erik made a good point with Byron Nelson. That's the biggest purse out of all of those I named at like 9.1, which is a ton, surprisingly. So that's like Erik said, I think that one's going to be a pretty strong field this year compared to what we've seen in the past. Like you said, Heritage too. Like I think Harbortown for me is a cool one because I really think it's the only course of its kind on the PGA Tour that has like lasted because it's so short comparably. Like I think it's the only one that they've actually continued to go to because of the way it plays. Like they can't just hit driver over everything when it's short at a place like this because of the water, like the dog legs and the trees are just so prevalent that it's like they start so close to you that you can't really go over them. It's not like they're out on the corner. Like they start right next to the tee box. So it just makes guys hit a lot of irons off tees and you play a totally different style of golf. I mean, you think about the recent winners at RBC, it's like CT Pan, Wesley Bryan, like Webb Simpson, Kuchar, Stuart Sink won last year. He's not exactly like a short hitter or a bomber. He's kind of in the middle, but like the rest of those guys I just named are not, or shorter hitters. Like Abe Answer plays well here a lot too. Like, so I think Harbortown is just a super cool course because it's just totally different than what you get every other week on the PGA Tour. It seems like where they're all just chasing distance, has 460-yard par fours over and over and over again. So I appreciate Harbortown for that fact, and I do enjoy watching it. It always is a Masters hangover week for me, but maybe with the field this week or this year that I'll pay a little bit more attention. And then I'm just gonna like, because I agree with Wells Fargo, I'm kind of out on that one, but I'm kind of excited to see Zurich this year. That course always like I played really, really wet last year. It was kind of lame. I'm just hoping it plays a little bit better. And also like the pairings seem a lot better this year. Like Max Homa and Taylor Gooch are playing. Victor Hovland and Morikawa are playing together. Like there's just a couple more big teams that I do love seeing a little bit of a different style event. I just hope the course plays a little bit better this year. So it's, a little firmer, a little faster, make them hit some cooler shots. But there's a couple bigger teams this year at that event that I don't recall playing in the past. So got my attention. I'm probably going to tune in for that one. And plus, if we're talking about like traveling to these places, like never done the New Orleans trip, so I'd be interested to see kind of what goes on there. It's something that I probably will get to at some point. It's not exactly top of my list, but it is someplace I do want to check out for at one time or another. Certainly more than I want to go to like Potomac, Maryland, or like McKinney, Texas, or like Hilton Head's, I think also probably at the top of that list on that side of the scale as well. Just because I know that area. I haven't been to that area, but I know a lot of people that have, and they always have good things to say. So it's an interesting stretch. Like I said, it's probably the most sporadic the PGA Tour season gets with travel. I mean, nothing's too far from each other, but they're not in the same state twice in this list, so it'll be interesting to see kind of how this plays out the next, month or so before they all go to Oklahoma for the PGA. But any other kind of stand out from a travel standpoint to you?
I really enjoyed my month in Texas last year when I was down there with my buddies. We drove through Dallas area, McKinney twice, didn't really stop. But I would go back just for the Buc-ee's. You know what Buc-ee's is? The gas station.
Is it a grocery store? The gas station. Grocery store thing? Okay.
Buc-ee's is there's no other way to put it besides it's all time. They have like 120 spots for like to fill your car up, like 120 pumps or so. It's a full-fledged, food court, other, store, convenience store, beef jerky, cheesecake. Like they just got it all down there in Texas at Buc-ee's. And also I think Dallas is a unique place because we have two huge metroplexes of Fort Worth and Dallas, right? Kind of within each other, multiple airports, all in, like, when we think of Texas, right? Yeah, we think of big cities, but a ton of land. So it's like they're close, but they're also like 50 miles away from each other, and it's all considered one area. So it's just like this. There's just a shit ton of people in one area, and everything is tremendously grand. Highways are massive, right? Like just the scale of what it is. I mean, it's like Minneapolis on steroids as far as like having two cities kind of right near each other. So that would probably be, if I were to think of what place would I maybe want to spend a week, I think Dallas McKinney could be a fun one just because there's a ton going on outside of the golf. Harbor Town's cool, but it is sleepy. I think if you're there to play golf, that's great. But besides that, you're sipping $12 cocktails and going out to
dinner. You're just going to fancy dinners. Yeah, you're not like, there's no like nightlife. Yeah.
So I think I think if you're going for an extended period of time, or even going for like a weekend, or going for like 4 days, going to the tournament a couple days, that would be a lot of fun just based off the variety. But I don't know. PGA Tour is so cool, and the fact that they travel around all these different cities, and I think they're doing a better job trying to bring in kind of like the culture and everything that comes to that comes with the tournament. But I still think they could do a better job bringing some more local people, whether that be in the form of local sponsorship. Like, I think, right, everyone wants all the cash, and that's how we get the high purses. But it would be kind of cool if we had a more focused, like community focused sponsorship kind of model on the PGA Tour. That, right, when we see, like, I always think it's kind of cool when you have like let's FedEx St. Jude, right, in Memphis, and like FedEx and St. Jude right there, headquartered, and then we play the tournament. So it allows for a lot of community involvement there, which is just maybe, I don't know, it's difficult to quantify, but it is an interesting component that I wish we had a little more of.
Is the Rocket Mortgage like that too, or am I way off? I feel like the Rocket Mortgage always is talking small business and stuff when they're doing that. And I don't know if that's because they're located there and then they're trying to like grow the local businesses in that area, or if just Rocket Mortgage as a sponsor is like that's their theme and they're doing it for that area, even if they're not in that area. But I get the vibe like that from Rocket Mortgage too.
I think they're a Detroit company or a Cleveland company or something like that.
Okay, so they're kind of close enough where they kind of have a little bit more pride to it and then try to lift up the small businesses around them. Because I agree, like I think that's how you kind of grow that's how you're going to grow your tournament. If your
Yeah.
golf course isn't like super elite, right? Like think about the Travelers, right? Like everybody loves the fucking Travelers. The Travelers is right in Hartford. They give a ton of tickets out to their employees, people in the area that go to it, and you feel a little bit of a sense of pride when the Travelers comes around because it's your local tournament for one way or another.
They're not going because it's TPC River Highlands. I can tell you that.
Exactly. Going because it's the Travelers, and the Travelers has gone pretty decent fields in the last few years, but it's because the Travelers, like, they have a Bears barbecue like setup stand there. Like Bears is a local barbecue spot in Connecticut. I mean, it's Connecticut barbecue. I'm not trying to compare it to like Texas or anything like that, but like it's a local thing. Like it's a local.
Yeah,
we're
throwing Ben and Jerry's ice cream carts out there on the thing.
Exactly. They're doing all that.
We got Dunkin' at the starting gates.
Exactly. Like, you get the Dunkin' vendors in there. It's all Sam Adams, all the booze, like not Boston, but close enough. So it's like little things like that where then those companies, all their employees work in that area. You bring all those people. It's like local vibes. Where I think of something like, I just don't know. I mean, maybe every area says that about their own tournament, and I just don't realize it. But I think to your point, like, the more you get like the local sponsorships, regardless of the purse size or whatever, I think that makes a big difference in like having a little bit of pride and like kind of lifting up the tournament from a fan standpoint, right? Like I think of Jordan's hole out on ATM when he won at Travelers maybe 4 years ago now or whatever it was, but like the place was electric. You wouldn't know that tournament happened in Connecticut. You'd think that was like, you'd think that's a big time PGA Tour event with the way like the crowd gathers. And even, I mean, the playoff kind of went too long last year, so the crowds kind of fell apart. But like, you just get a lot more. It feels like the Travelers has like some of the better crowds for such a low level PGA Tour event, but it's because it's a local sponsorship to an extent. Obviously, Travelers is a huge company, but it's local. All their employees and local businesses get discount tickets because you're local. Blah blah. People have a sense of pride. They go there. They have a good time. They love. There's a sense of pride that goes with that. I think I would like to see a lot more, or at least showcase better. Maybe it's just that they don't show me it enough on other tournaments where I know about it. But
I mean, I think they do it around like Wells Fargo, right? That's a Charlotte-based company, and they play it at Quail Hollow. But we got the Royal Bank of Canada sponsoring the RBC, at Harbor Town. It would be pretty cool, right? If we had some sort of low country, big time company come in and do that. And next thing you know, it's not only a historic golf course and a great tournament, but like just these kind of slow moving Southern vibes or something like that at that place. It would really match up pretty cool. And I think it might be a little more of a destination, right? I think in some capacity, right? Because it's tough. Like there's not a lot of tournaments near Hilton Head.
Right.
Like they're probably outside of when they played the Palmetto Championship there. And I think that was kind of a 1-year deal. There's not really a tournament within like a 4 or 5 hour radius. Like everything else is kind of right on the outskirts of that. So they really own the kind of South Georgia, South Carolina market when it comes to that. They could have something really cool if they kind of just rethought that a little bit. But I'm gonna watch it. Yeah. We talk about this community stuff. It's kind of fun, but at the end of the day, money talks, right? So
money's the reason the players are there. So yeah. Alrighty, I'm excited for a little bit of a cool down between the Masters and the PGA. I love the new Master schedule, one every month. It's nice and structured. You get up and you gotta have a couple weeks to kind of come back to level, and then right when you're kind of falling away from it, 2 weeks from the PGA, let's get back into it and focus. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope Zurich, just the course isn't soaked and miserable this year, so it plays a little cooler to see on TV, because I do think I like the fact that they're trying something different with that. I always preach like either more match play, just different style events, because I think it's fun to watch those when you watch 40 other PGA Tour events the rest of the year. So I will definitely tune into that and hopefully, see some fireworks there, and, maybe I'll start planning some trips coming down.
If you're playing in the Zurich Classic right now, who's your partner?
You. I play my best golf when I'm with you.
On the PGA Tour. Or actually, all right. Yeah. Well, okay. We'll give you 2 here. All right. I appreciate that. That was. I feel really good about myself. I've had a tough day. I appreciate that. But give me one person on the PGA Tour one person on the PGA Tour champions and one person on the LPGA Tour. If those are your partners there.
PGA Tour. Just for the sake of a conversation, I'm not going to say Tiger or Rory because that's just fanboying, and I don't think I'd play very good golf in that group. But I think a guy like I don't know, like Max Homa seems really cool, like normal to talk. Like I'm trying to think of the way because I'm gonna dragging my guy down, so I'm trying to think of a guy that it's gonna be fun to like be out there with for 4 days versus like trying to pick the best player on the PGA Tour. Like I'm just trying to pick a guy I think would be fun for 4 days. Like Mark Leishman, I think would be really cool to play with. Cam Smith seems super relaxed, or like Max Homa. Those are my 3 guys. I think I'd like, regardless of the golf, I think they'd have fun with me out there, and it wouldn't be like, I don't think Rory would talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see him just like chopping it up and slapping it around and having fun with it if we're playing like shit. So I'm gonna go with those 3 guys. I think that'd be a lot of fun to play golf with any of them. Like I don't think they'd be like, I don't know. I feel like those guys they're just like exhausted by like interacting with like fans and stuff like that, like the Rorys and Tigers of the world. But I think Max, Leash, and Cam Smith would like embrace something like that. I think that'd be a different vibe. Champions Tour. I think I'd want to play with Jim Furyk just to see what that looks like in person, and just kind of see how he plots his way around a golf course and shoots 65 or whatever, and like doing it in super interesting different ways than what I see on TV every week. Or like Steve Stricker too. I think just being the Ryder Cup captain, I think I bet you he's got some pretty cool, and like being one of Tiger's buddies, I think he'd be a pretty cool guy to hang out with. Seems nice. And again, chill vibe, like the Wisconsin guy, like seems super easy to talk to and all of his, press stuff and whatever else. And then LPGA Tour, I gotta go. This is a tough one, actually. LPGA Tour, I'd probably go either Danielle Kang or Lydia Ko, because those are probably like my 2 favorite players to watch play golf. And I don't know, they bring a lot of energy on the golf course. Like they're a little, like they're feisty. They have like, they're the ones doing fist pumps and things of that nature when they're out there, versus like, I don't know, like the Quarter Twins or like, Jin Young Ko or whatever. Like they seem like robots out there, like machines, and like they're very fucking good. But it's like, I don't know, I feel like those 2 would, again, it'd be a little bit more fun. They'd kind of loosen up and have fun with it. That's the vibe I'm going for here. So that's fine. What about you? Because that's a good question. I like that.
So I think for PGA Tour, I think Shane Lowry would be a blast to play with out there. Just seems like a great guy.
That's a great answer.
And then also, like, I think it would be fun to watch someone like Taylor Gooch play, because he doesn't like blow you away with anything that he does, but he just like strikes it in the center all day long. And I think I might learn something from watching someone just like hit penetrating like ball flights all day long, and just carve up a golf course. I will go LPGA Tour. I would love to play around with Shen Cheng Feng. I think
that's a great answer.
She's a wild card, but we haven't seen a ton with her. If I couldn't get around with her, I'm playing with the tempo of Imby Park, I think could be good.
You can roll it too. She can roll it too. You get some putting vibes, maybe a little putting lesson out of her during the round. It could change your whole game.
Yeah. So I think that would be kind of fun. Champions Tour. I really like the Wisconsin vibes you're talking about. But if I'm going Wisconsin, I'm going Jerry Kelly. That guy's fire.
There you go. There you go.
All-time like gray goatee too. Like just solid.
Yeah. He's been on the Champions Tour forever, racking up wins. I mean, I know Bernhard wins literally every week, it seems like, but he's no slouch himself. He does well out there.
And you know who I think's a low-key like sociopath is Patty Harrington. So I think,
I forget he does both. Yeah.
Like I think you might see some shit out there if you were playing with Padraig Harrington.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. He definitely, a lot of the Ryder Cup stuff leading in, he was in a lot of interviews and stuff. He's definitely a little Well, interesting. I mean, top 5 at the PGA last year. That's how he got into the Masters this year. But
and just like he's been very vocal. I think he's like close with Faraday. So like when Faraday was doing all the shows and stuff, like I remember he got interviewed pretty early on, and he just had some interesting things to say about like the kind of golf that he grew up playing. And obviously he was an elite player for like a 4 or 5 year stretch and won 3 majors in a 2-year period. So I think that would kind of be fun to hear that. And just like, I don't know if you've seen on, I think it's Instagram or Twitter or whatever, his setup in his backyard where he hits golf balls.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have broken every window in my house at this point.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's interesting. He does like all those like pre and post tournament like roundups, recaps and stuff too. It's very like social, but like it's interesting. I think that'd be another interesting walk. That's what I'm all about. I'm just trying to have a fun walk out there. Maybe pick up a thing or two from one of these guys or girls, if whatever, and see what goes on. Because I think that's an interesting question. We might have to put a little polling question out with the people. See who they want to play with.
Who's your partner? Yeah, we'll do. That's what we'll do. I mean, the week of Zurich, we'll figure out who's the most popular, partner out there on the PGA Tour. We might have to
take Tiger Woods out of the question because I think otherwise that's the only answer we're gonna get. But yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. But Matthew, pleasure. It was nice to have Erik on for a little bit and kind of get your guys' perspective on what was going on in the Masters. Super fun week last week. But looking forward to a fun stretch here on the PGA Tour and seeing kind of who's peaking. Who do you have your eye on, I guess? And I don't want to continue to have more questions here, but like who do you got your eye on? And then we can finish this thing off.
Yeah, I think I'm looking for, not that they're peaking right now, but I'm interested to see what happens with Jordan before the next major. Like, is he going to bounce back and find some sort of form, or are we just in for another 2019 kind of 2020 early 2020 kind of situation with him? Interested to see where that goes after missing the cut at like arguably the best tournament he has in his career with form and whatnot. And then I'm also keeping an eye on like Lowry. I think is playing like really, really, really good golf right now. Probably should have won at Honda and has been top 20ing all over the place since then, and even top 10 at Augusta last week. He's standing out to me as a guy that might kind of go out and grab one of these majors this year if he kind of maintains the form he's got, because he plays like can play in tough conditions. Like he's a gritty kind of performer. He doesn't blow you away with his distance, keeps the ball low and out of the wind if any of those factors get involved. Like he's playing some super, super solid golf, and I'm interested to see how long he sustains it, and if he's keeps this trend going into the next major. I'm probably going to take a good look at him when it comes to making picks for the PGA if he kind of maintains the play he's got right now. So those are my two guys for one side and the other.
Yeah. And I'll say mine, then we can end this thing. I'll put my first disclaimer. If Scottie Scheffler like maintains himself a little bit here, doesn't go crazy, doesn't play too much, plays 1 or 2 times between now and the PGA, it would not surprise me if he wins. I think he has shown us that he's capable of like living up to his own standards, right? And saying it's his favorite golf course in the world, and like, I don't think he's afraid of that. Like, I don't think he's afraid to continue to play well. I also really I think Will Zalatoris wins PGA. That's my bet right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. He had another good week at Augusta, and he's another guy that's been working his way up. He's been trending. So good stuff. And as always, pleasure talking. And it's good to get one major under the belt. And I'm excited for the next 3 in the next 3 months. And good luck wrapping up school. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, and I'm excited for you now that you got your membership there. More consistent golf, more consistent practice. Expecting big things when I'm back in beginning of June from your game, Mr. Fontaine.
Well, hopefully I can live up to those expectations. We'll see.
All right. Well, good chatting. I'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.